Welcome to Living in Beauty. It's Monday, February 19th, 2024, day 2772 on the road, and we're in Conehatta, Mississippi. Our Civil Rights Trail Tour began with the Emmett Till Memorial, a good place to start for several reasons. First, the murder of Emmett Till launched the civil rights movement. Second, our destination for the night, the Emmett Till Intrepid Center, was a scenic Sunday drive from Dad's house in Decatur, Mississippi. Third, it was spring, the most beautiful season in Mississippi, when it's customary to reflect on new beginnings, redemption, and reconciliation. These are ideal conditions to immerse in the life and death story of Emmett Till. For white kids in grade school, the story of Emmett Till served as our aha moment about racial inequity in America. We'd already deduced that something was off, and Emmett Till filled us in on the secret. In the mid-60s, Emmett would have been in his mid-20s, younger than my parents. If Emmett had been born just a couple of years later, he'd have been a boomer. If he'd just not gone to Mississippi and never set foot inside that store to buy candy where he laid his eyes on Carolyn Bryant, then maybe today he'd be an 83-year-old COVID survivor sending those goofy, nostalgic emails to his grandkids about the good old days. Emmett Till was the death of innocence. Ours was the first generation with a horror story in our American history books that eclipsed the chilling stories of Hawthorne, Poe, Shelley, and Hitchcock, and continues to transcend King, Kubrick, Tarantino. Our generation's nightmare occurred less than a month after Disneyland's grand opening and involved a teenager's summer of 55 vacation to Money, Mississippi. 1 minute, Emmett is sleeping peacefully in bed beside his cousin Simeon at his Uncle Moses' house on Dark Fear Road. The next minute, he is abducted in the dead of night by 2 white men he's never seen before. In a dramatic, time-stopping moment of irony, the kidnappers pause to watch Emmett slowly put on his socks. Nevertheless, he is thrown in the truck of torture to suffer through the night of terror, where he is afflicted by such heinous acts that for 69 years the silent scream for justice has not paused for breath. It is estimated that more than 14 people were involved in Emmett Till's lynching, but the FBI closed the case 66 years later on December 6, 2021, without a single conviction. Emmett Till, a likable kid with the cool nickname Bobo, naively walked straight into some seriously messed up adult trouble. Many children can readily identify with grown-ups blowing something out of proportion and even taking licks for a wrong they didn't commit. Emmett Till's story almost sounds like a cautionary tale for precocious teens. That is, until you get to the lynching part. Jim and I both have deep roots in Mississippi, and Emmett's story intersects somewhat with our own. Like Emmett, we never lived in the Deep South, but every summer we visited family there. We know what it is to bask in the attention of Southern cousins who are intrigued by our accents. Say dog, say cat, and quiz us about what it's like to live in the city. Have you ever seen a movie star? While the silent issue of racism hangs heavy in the air. In the early 60s, at the public pool in Port Gibson, Mississippi, Jim noticed dozens of black kids waiting in the hot sun on the opposite side of the chain-link fenced pool. When the midday heat began to subside, the lifeguards announced whites must exit the pool for colored swimming hour. In the 80s, my legendary dad, Alan Perry, spearheaded school consolidation, resulting in desegregation in Newton County, Mississippi. In the early 90s, the small town threw a street party in front of the courthouse to celebrate a new era of better educational opportunities for all. As I strolled along the decorated storefronts, I spotted a white friend talking with his black schoolmate. As I crossed the street, I waved to them, eager to join the conversation. But as I approached, the black high school student lowered his head and awkwardly averted his eyes. My friend introduced us, but I never shook hands or even exchanged eye contact with the black student. What's this? I thought. Severe shyness? As I stepped away to mingle elsewhere. Later, my friend explained the harsh realities of being a black male in Mississippi. Sick to my stomach, I grappled with conflicting emotions. Dad's important civic work involved risk to himself and his family. But if a black male high school student cannot look a 30-something-year-old woman in the eye without fear, can all this hard-earned progress be a lasting endeavor? Mississippi is my family's beautiful ancestral home. But how can a white woman effectively function in a culture where, at any time and even without her knowledge, she could serve as a tool for terrorists looking to bring serious harm upon a black child? That was 35 years ago. Today, in Newton County and throughout Mississippi, black and white people are enjoying improvements in race relations, the likes of which I had never expected to see in my lifetime. Furthermore, communities are equipping themselves for sustainable peace. The Civil Rights Trail is all about this healing, placing the wounds of the past in a safe public space where people with genuine intentions, both black and white, from far and near, can address their experience with race relations. First stop, Bryant's Grocery Store and Meat Market. If not for the Mississippi Freedom Trail roadside marker, we'd have missed it. Draped behind a weeping veil of kudzu, the notorious corner store is barely visible from the road. The Gothic decay of Bryant's exposes the breath and bones of this living memorial, serving a death row sentence. Perhaps that's why this site is the recommended overture to the tragic Emmett Till story. Next, Glendora. Not far from Bryant's Grocery is brave little Glendora, a truth-forward kind of town. For decades, the locals have shouldered heavy pressure to just let the hate crime fade away. Largely due to their efforts, Emmett Till is core to the civil rights movement. Like the open casket funeral, Emmett's truth is open for all in Glendora. To emphasize that this isn't dusty old history, Emmett's accuser, Carolyn Bryant, died 2 weeks after we pulled into Glendora. It was eerily quiet. As members of Harvest Hosts, we were invited to park overnight on the site where, disputedly, Emmett's murderers stole a heavy cotton gin fan to anchor his body to the bottom of Black Bayou on August 28, 1955. Considering all this, we settled in as best we could, while the Delta sunset painted the sky a biblical shade of red. When darkness fell, we retired into beauty to watch Women of the Movement and videos of Sonny Boy. Glendora is proud to be the hometown of Sonny Boy Williamson II, King of the Harmonica. Even if you're not into the blues, you just gotta love Sonny Boy. As a young post-war musician, Robbie Robertson, who was recently awarded a posthumous Oscar for his score in Killers of the Flower Moon, tells a fascinating story about his Jim Crow-era encounter with the legendary Sonny Boy. In the morning, Mayor Thomas guided us on a tour of the Emmett Till Intrepid Center. We viewed an introductory film explaining the delicate racial dynamics of the Delta in the mid-1950s. The museum is designed to draw visitors into Emmett's experience, to imagine walking in his steps. Reconstructions of articles from that terrible night are on display, including the truck used to abduct Emmett. Later that morning, we pulled out of Glendora and drove 12 miles to the next site, Sumner Courthouse. Driving along the bayou towards Sumner, the expansive Delta sky started to tear up. Hoping to avoid a downpour, we parked beside the courthouse and ducked into the popular and cozy Sumner Grill for a bite. The fried chicken, slow-cooked greens, sweet potatoes, and salty cornbread did their thing. Southern food has an almost narcotic, soothing effect. After lunch, we'd hoped to pick up some rice grits from Two Brooks Farm, but the store was closed. So we walked directly across the road to the Emmett Till Interpretive Center, which is, thanks to a benefactor, now under complete renovation. Documentation and a dedicated, knowledgeable staff are the strengths of this important museum. After perusing the collection, we walked across the street to tour the courthouse, where justice for Emmett Till hit a brick wall. An inmate gave us a tour of the interior, answering all of our questions about the preservation project, and highlighting features such as the jury box for the all-white jurors, the black seating area, where Emmett's mother, Mamie Till, sat, and where Mo stood to identify Emmett's murderers for the court. When the perpetrators were acquitted, less than a month after their murderous work, the world sat on edge, waiting for new evidence to surface. But hope waned with each passing decade. Those who were knowingly and likely involved are all deceased. Justice failed, but Emmett Till is still on the move. Next stop, Memorial Statue in Greenwood. The 1955 photo that shocked the world is merely his chrysalis. Emmett Till has emerged at last from the murk and chaos of Jim Crow horror and is transformed into a contemporary American folk hero. He is jaunty, at ease, and conspicuously himself. The art of the horror genre is to fetishize hope, to initiate more horror. That is not Emmett Till's story. His monstrous wounds shocked the world, but Emmett Till is about more than his wounds. He is himself, the essence of persistence, precious, unabashed life in a hostile environment. He's that tree growing straight out of a rock, a winter rose, Mamie's little lamb. Emmett's memorial statue in Greenwood, inspired by a photograph taken a month before he was killed, shows us a well-adjusted Emmett, head held high, full of ambition, and the spitting image of his mother. Emmett's story is not old, but it is timeless. He was abducted, stripped, tormented, and mercilessly executed by a cruel and oppressive regime. He then rose from the grave and revealed his wounds for all the world to see. Emmett Till is the universal child. He is America's child. And our hope is in him. Thank you for joining us at Living in Beauty. If you like this post and want to be notified when a new one is released, please enter your email address and click the follow button at the bottom of this page. For more info, check out our travel maps and facts. Okay, that's it for now. Safe and happy travels. Until next time.